Good morning, Lourdes.
Good morning, Maria. How are you?
I'm doing really well today. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Doing great.
Excellent.
How about you?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah. Thank
Okay,
you for asking.
wonderful.
Shall we get
Wonderful.
started?
Yes.
Well, welcome back to Coaching Conversations. Today, we'll explore how to create more clarity and confidence in your daily life. I'm Lourdes Sleeper.
And I am Maria Sabio, and today we're diving into something that quietly drains a lot of people's energy: acting with conflicting motives or overthinking decisions and relying too much on external validation.
Yeah, if you've ever struggled with second guessing yourself, seeking constant reassurance, or feeling like you need permission to be at peace, this conversation is for you.
Because the truth is, inner peace and confidence comes from within. So it's not about other people's approval. So today we'll talk about how to make clear, strong decisions and stop seeking outside validation and truly stand on your own.
Yes, so let's get into it and let's start with the big one. Why do so many of us struggle to make confident decisions?
Right. It's basically two words, right? Conflicting motives. We say yes when we want to say no. We make choices out of fear, out of obligation, wanting to please others. And that creates that inner resistance.
Yes, and that resistance makes us hesitate. It makes us overthink and feel unsettled. And, have you ever agreed to something, but then felt a little sick inside afterward?
Yeah, I think that goes for everybody. And when that happens, it's really, it's our intuition saying, this isn't actually what I want, right? But when we ignore that voice, we train ourselves to really to not trust our own judgment.
Yeah, and I think in growing up, we kind of are trained in that way to like listen to the parent or the caregiver. And so we kind of drown out our own inner voice, our own inner guidance system. So, if you're in this boat, you are not alone. But the first takeaway is this: if you feel inner resistance, pause and ask, am I acting from a place of clarity, or am I being pulled in different directions? Acting out of obligation or guilt. That's a huge sign. Wouldn't you say, Maria?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because, it's basically when we're little, we want to survive. It's not something that we're thinking about. It's something that we basically are. We're in a survival state. And when you continue to want approval from others or don't listen to your intuition, you're still basically in that survival state. And if you're acting with these conflicting motives, you have to slow down and get clear before making choices, right? And one of the things that I like is this phrase, stand straight, don't be straightened, right? Learning to hold yourself up instead of relying on others to do it for you. What does that mean for you?
Well, to me, it means really being solid in who you are.
Mhm.
That ability to be centered in your own truth rather than waiting for others to give you stability and hold you up, right? It's the difference between being self-reliant and then, or as opposed to being shaped by outside forces.
Yeah, exactly. Because when you constantly need external validation, you're not standing on your own. You're being held up by other people's opinions.
And that's exhausting because now your confidence isn't based on your values, It's based on whether someone else approves of you.
Right. And so that's no longer confidence, right? How can you build confidence, self-confidence, if your confidence is dependent on other people? That's that's why sometimes people lack self-confidence, because you're relying on everybody else to approve of you. So the key is shifting from needing reassurance to simply preferring it. It's okay to want support, but it shouldn't be the foundation of your confidence.
Right. It like you just said, a preference. It's
Mhm.
nice to have, but I don't need it
Right.
because I know myself and I know what's right for me, whether or not others approve. So ask yourself, if no one else could validate me, would I still stand by my decision? And if the answer is no, it's time to do some inner work. All right. So let's talk about the practical side of how do we start making decisions with confidence instead of hesitation?
Right. I mean, and the first step is trust your first instinct. Most of the time, your gut knows what's right before your mind talks about it, or before your mind actually talks you out of it.
Yeah, it's that inner guidance system, right? That gut
Yeah.
feeling, that instinct, that inner knowing, whatever you want to call it, but you've felt it. You've said yes when you really wanted to say no, or knew that whatever you were agreeing to was really in fact out of alignment for you. And so learn to listen out for that voice. And then another step is to make peace with imperfection. Overthinking often comes from the fear of making the wrong choice. But in reality, most choices aren't right or wrong. They're just different paths. And I think either way, there's learning and growth.
Right. I mean, I think it goes again towards what failure is for you. If you look, failure and a growth mindset, if you look at any mistake that you make as a lesson or something that you learned and said, okay, so I went left last time, I'm going to go right this time. You look at it differently, and it's okay to be wrong, and you have to be okay with being wrong sometimes. And it's just a misalignment. And step three, practice making small decisions independently. Order a meal without asking anybody else what they think, if they like it, if they don't like it. Pick out a workout and without debating or somebody else's opinion. And the more you start practicing, you start trusting yourself in these little things. It's easier. It's easier for you to make decisions in those bigger areas.
Yeah, this is one of the areas where as we practice, we get better. And when we practice with smaller decisions and things turn out all right, or even if they don't, it's building that agency within yourself that yes, I am capable of making these decisions, but you have to practice. Because confidence isn't about never making mistakes. It's about knowing you can handle whatever happens next.
Right. Now, let's talk about finding peace within, right? Because this is a big thing. This is how to stop relying on outside circumstances for your peace.
Right. So many people say, I'll be happy when, or I'll be at peace if and when. But peace isn't something you find outside. It's not something that you find outside yourself. It's something that you cultivate and create within yourself.
Yes. And that means learning to be okay, even with the things or when things are uncertain, to find stability in your own mindset, not in the things you can't control.
Yeah. So instead of asking, when will things calm down? Ask, how can I create calm within myself, no matter what's happening around me?
because that true freedom is, it's needing nothing outside of yourself to be at peace. It's having your own inner strength to calm things down and center yourself. And again, that's a practice.
Yes. And so we're going to wrap it up with some practical tips to apply these lessons. Here are some quick, actionable steps if you want to stop overthinking and start trusting yourself. Here's what to do. Before making a decision, ask, am I acting from clarity or from pressure? And shift from needing validation to preferring it, but not depending on it. And then start making small decisions without asking for input.
That's a big one. That's a really big one, that practice. And remind yourself, peace isn't found outside, you create it inside. And then ask, if no one else could validate me, would I stand by this choice? Your mind, your space. Fill it with your thoughts. That strength within you, not one that makes you doubt yourself. Those fill it with those thoughts that strengthen you, not ones that make you doubt yourself.
Absolutely. So your challenge this week, each time you feel uncertain about a decision, pause. And instead of asking others what to do, ask yourself, what do I truly want? Then trust that answer.
And if doubt creeps in, remind yourself, I trust myself to handle whatever comes next. That's real confidence. That's self-confidence.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us. And if you found this helpful, share it with someone who needs to hear it.
And remember, stand straight. Don't be straightened. You already have everything you need within you.